Okay, let's dive in. You've brought us some really interesting source material today.
Yeah, it's from a YouTube transcript. You didn't find this by accident. There's a reason. The channel's called Solace Fox.
Right. And the main thing it gets into is that feeling, when some message or video just finds you.
Exactly. And it argues pretty strongly this isn't random at all. There's a reason, it says.
A reason that connects back to you. The source uses this phrase, freaking ready.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we want to unpack today, right?
Yeah.
What does the source mean by this alignment? What does being ready actually feel like, according to them?
And this whole process, it describes this waking up or becoming.
Yeah.
So before we get deeper, just take a second, you listening right now. You ever had that happen? Something just shows up, a quote, a song, maybe even a video like the one we're talking about right when you needed it.
How did that feel?
Yeah, because this source is basically saying, hey, finding this kind of material, it's maybe less about the message itself and more a sign of something shifting inside.
The source kicks off really boldly, challenging that whole idea of coincidence.
Yeah.
It insists, no, it's alignment.
You didn't find this by accident. There's a reason. That's the title and the core message.
And it jumps right in saying, you probably found this because something inside you is waking up.
And you're freaking ready to stop running from who you've always been. That's quite a statement to start with.
It really is. And I actually appreciate that it immediately tackles what this waking up actually feels like. It's not gentle. No, it says flat out, it doesn't feel beautiful, doesn't feel peaceful. Actually, it says it kind of sucks at first.
Okay, so it's grounding it in a more challenging reality then.
Totally. It describes feelings like confusion, frustration.
And that image it uses is powerful, pulling threads from a sweater until everything you thought was you starts unraveling.
Mm-hmm. That's not a gentle unfolding, is it? It's messy.
Sounds disruptive, like it forces you to question everything. Your past, your choices, who you even thought you were.
Yeah, and it points out how much of our lives can be built on, external stuff, ideas, expectations, these fake versions of success.
Even personality traits we adopted.
Right. And the source just bundles all that up and calls it survival mode the whole time.
Wow. Survival mode.
And it talks about the fear when those masks, those survival strategies start to fall away.
Because what's left?
Just you. That's what it says. No filters, no roles, no need to pretend anymore.
Yeah.
And it suggests that point. That's where most people panic and run back to comfort.
Okay. So the implication is if this is resonating with you, you probably didn't run. You felt that unraveling start and you stayed.
Which leads you, according to the source, into this kind of in-between phase.
The in-between, like a waiting room.
Yeah, or limbo. It paints a picture. You're not who you used to be, but you don't fully know who you are yet either. And it's not smooth. It's chaotic, swinging between feeling okay and total doubt.
And the source stresses that's okay. That's normal.
Mm-hmm. It really pushes back on that idea that change should feel serene. It says this part is normal. It's not you failing, it's just the process.
So forget the Instagram version of transformation.
Pretty much. It's less mountaintop sunrise, more like sitting in the wreckage of your old life thinking, all right, so what now?
That sounds bleak.
It can be. The source doesn't sugarcoat it. It calls this phase messy, painful, involves silent nights, maybe even walking away from people or things that just don't fit anymore.
Okay, so if it's so messy and painful, where's the value? Why go through it?
Well, that's the twist. The source calls this exact part, this quiet, unglamorous, kind of lonely part. It calls it sacred.
Sacred. That seems counterintuitive. Why sacred if it feels so bad?
Because the argument goes, that's where the real shift happens. In that quiet, when the external noise finally dials down, you start to actually hear you.
Hear yourself.
Yeah.
Separate from all the other voices.
Exactly. Separate from the parent's voice, society's checklist, your ex's opinions, all that stuff. It's about undoing the noise, unlearning all the crap they fed you since day one.
Okay, so it's like clearing static to hear the actual signal.
Right. And it makes this really interesting distinction. Walking away from the old you, shedding that skin, that's hard, but maybe the easier part.
Easier than what?
Easier than standing still long enough to become who you really are. That, the source says, that's where the real strength kicks in.
Standing still, not running, not distracting yourself, being.
Yeah, be with the shedding. It calls it shedding the layers of who you had to be to survive. That old self wasn't bad, it served its purpose, but this messy bit, that's the bridge, the transformation.
There was a line about silence that really jumped out at me. Silence feels louder when you're finally alone. What does it mean by silence becoming confronting?
Well, think about it. Without all the usual distractions, the job, the drama, the endless scrolling, what's left?
Just you.
And your thoughts. Exactly. And the source says, That's when the stuff you've been dodging for years comes up. Uncomfortable truths start surfacing in that quiet.
Like what kind of?
Things like maybe you were living for validation or chasing versions of yourself that weren't even yours. Or maybe you realized you'd traded your truth for acceptance somewhere along the line.
Ooh, that's heavy stuff to face.
For sure. The source calls it a brutal thing to admit, but then right away it reframes it. That brutal honesty, that's not failure. That's your freaking turning point.
The confrontation is the turning point.
Which ties right back to that other blunt statement. Healing isn't some sparkly Instagram quote. It's freaking chaos.
Yeah, no romanticism there.
None. Healing is crying on a random Tuesday night and still waking up to try again.
Yeah.
It's rewriting your own script when you don't even know what the next line is. Scary, but necessary.
So expecting it to be neat and linear is where people get stuck.
Seems like. The source has this great analogy. Growth isn't a neat little staircase. It's more like a messy scribble.
I like that. A messy scribble.
It goes all over the place, right? Backwards, forwards, loops. And the source says, yeah, this is where a lot of people tap out. They want comfort more than they want truth.
But the implication is, if you're still with this, still feeling it, you're probably not most people anymore.
Right. And sticking with that messy scribble, that discomfort, eventually leads to clarity. But again, not in the way you might expect.
No trumpets or sudden revelation.
Nope. Clarity slips in quietly, piece by tiny piece. And awesome, you look back and realize the things that broke you open were exactly the things you needed to let go of.
So the breaking wasn't the end, it was the opening.
That's the idea. Discomfort isn't the enemy you need to conquer before you get clarity. Discomfort is where clarity grows. Because now you're not running anymore.
So clarity comes while you're uncomfortable.
Yes, by choosing to sit in that quiet discomfort and just breathe through it, not fighting it, not numbing it, just breathing.
That feels like a huge shift in perspective. Finding clarity in the discomfort, not after it.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it leads to this other really freeing idea in the source.
Which is?
You're allowed to outgrow yourself. You're allowed to be messy, to feel lost. You don't have to apologize for it.
And pretending you have it all figured out when you don't, that's actually work.
The source suggests so, yeah. Because that real change, that clarity, it's not something you chase down and grab.
It's something you
allow. You allow it by saying no to what doesn't align anymore, which is tough. And by surrendering to the fact that maybe you don't have it all figured out yet.
It's like you find yourself when you stop trying so hard to be found.
Kind of, yeah. There's an allowing, a letting go involved.
So bringing it all back.
Yeah.
What does this source say to you, the person listening, if this whole conversation is hitting home?
The source circles back really strongly. It says if this resonated, then yeah, something's changing inside you.
And it offers reassurance, right? Based on its perspective.
You're not behind. You're not lost in some irredeemable way. You are, it says, exactly where you need to be.
Which is where?
Standing in the middle of your truth, messy as it might be, brave enough to face it.
Wow, that's quite affirming, actually, even in the messiness.
And it encourages you to own that, to claim this moment, mark it somehow as the turning point.
The point where you stop waiting for permission, maybe.
Yeah, stop waiting and start owning your truth. It even mentions that idea of commenting, "I'm ready," on the original video, just as a way to declare it to yourself.
A little ritual of commitment?
Sort of.
Yeah.
And it ends right where it began. You didn't find this message by accident. There was a reason you were ready to hear it.
So we've walked through this source, this Solis Fox transcript from that initial idea about non-random encounters.
Through its very unvarnished description of waking up, the unraveling, the discomfort.
The messy middle part it calls sacred.
Yeah, where you confront truths and learn to sit with the quiet, even when it's loud.
And finding clarity not by escaping the discomfort, but by breathing through it.
The core message, really, from this source seems to be that confusing, maybe painful in-between stage. It isn't you being stuck. It's the process.
It's the sign that you're reaching for something real, not just easy.
Exactly. So maybe a final thought to leave you with, drawing from all this.
Go for it.
What if all that confusion, maybe that pain or uncertainty you feel right now,
yeah,
what if it's not the opposite of clarity? What if it's actually the fertile ground where clarity is starting to grow precisely because you stopped running?